translation for your absolute attentive listening. Although a saintly person may not expose himself to the vision of human society, by his behavior his purpose is disclosed. To human society he should present himself like a restless child. And although he is the greatest thoughtful orator, he should present himself like a dumb man. Hare Krishna, this means he is a cheater. Purport. A great personality very much advanced in Krishna consciousness may not expose himself by the signs of a sannyasi. To cover himself, he may live like a restless child or a dumb person, although he is the greatest orator or poet. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Niveshesha Shunyavadi Paskatyade Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adigo Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. An example of such a transcendentalist who outwardly behaves different than what he inwardly carries in him would be Shukadev Goswami, who really behaved in ways which were totally incomprehensible for ordinary people. Just the fact that he stayed 16 years in the womb of his mother and did not come out is very telling. Finally, Vyasadeva, after 16 long years, said to him, "O child, why do you needlessly torture your poor mother by staying a prolonged amount of time in her womb?" And Shukadev asked back, "Who are you who's speaking to me?" "I'm your father," came the voice back, little voice. "I'm not coming out. If you say you're my father, this means there is an illusory world outside, because no one is anybody's father. I'm staying. This is too much Maya for me to come in such a world." Oh. Only if Govinda, who's staying at the present moment in Dwaraka, comes personally and assures me I will not fall in Maya, will I go into your world, so-called father. So Vyasadeva summoned Govinda, the Lord, and he promised Shukadev, "Yes, you will be protected, please don't worry, come out." And he came out, and we all know the story at great lengths. he immediately ran into the forest. He didn't want family life. And Vyasadeva had to devise a very, very great scheme to get his unusual child to come and listen to him and explain the Bhagavata. It's a long story, and I don't wish to lose time. It is only half an hour. It is like we have little time this morning because we have a big program. He was so unusual right from the start, and when he finally moved on, left the ashram of Vyasadeva after he had heard and remembered the Bhagavatam, he was surrounded by children and women and other people who thought, well, he is a little crazy, so they followed him, and they could not know that he is the greatest saint, because he behaved like a person, like a restless child, a little unpredictable and unusual. But then when he finally arrived in the assembly which sat there around the cursed emperor of the world, and he opened his mouth and spoke as the greatest orator and poet, the whole Bhagavatam for 7 entire days, then everyone understood. He is what he is, the greatest of all saints. Yes, here it is said, I will read this again for you, this verse. Although a saintly person may not expose himself to the vision of human society, by his behavior his purpose is disclosed. To human society he should present himself like a restless child, and although he is the greatest thoughtful orator, he should present himself like a dumb man. Then he is left alone by materialistic people, and can remain in his transcendental absorption. What is it, I want to ask you, which is the secret of such a saint, that while the whole world is so much eager to receive the praises of others, he is no longer eager to be recognized and appreciated by the world? What is it in him that has enabled him to cut his dependency on what most people need in order to survive? What is his secret? In the remaining time, I would like to disclose to you a secret which will be, if you understand it, apply it, be the switch which turns everything on into your life. Blissful knowledge in Krishna consciousness, divine experiences, and so on. That little switch is a well-kept secret from the hearts of these great, great beings who have roamed the world to present the missing point to human society. The secret is Krishna Sambandha, a relationship with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion that this simple art, I don't remember his exact word, but he refers to it as a missing point, the simple point which turns the light on in everything which we do, is the simple art of entering into a relationship with Krishna. Now, I would like to a little bit provoke you. It's my uncanny habit to provoke my audience. Have you found that switch in your life? There was once a lady, I read about her 7 years ago, in India, who had been a very good worshipper of Lord Ram. Good in the sense that every day without fail she came to the temple and observed the ceremonies. She would not come empty-handed, she would bring fruits and so on. But she felt dry in her heart. She seemed to not make advancement. So she asked one Gaudiya Vaishnava, who was a worshipper of Radha and Krishna, for an advice, because she noticed that this devotee was always so blissful and so fulfilled. She asked, I'm worshipping since 45 plus years Lord Ram. It's almost my 50th year, and I know I'm getting old and I'm not getting anywhere. Can you tell me what is the secret for? And then this Gaudiya Vaishnava emphatically said to her, "Oh, old lady, has anyone ever explained to you your relationship to Ram? Have the thought ever dawned upon you that you are his part and that you are meant to serve him in a personal way?" The lady was surprised. You mean a Yes, a relationship, like to your children, for instance. Yeah, but I'm not advanced enough. Can you be a servant of God? Is that a relationship? Where you directly offer him things? The lady took counsel from this Vaishnava. My dear devotees, our prime goal is, as we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Radha and Krishna, and we worship them through the chanting of the holy name. But did you know that if you chant the holy name and you are not aware, that means consciously aware of your relationship, you chant shadow names, not real names. I would like to tell you the benefit of shadows. When you are the world of the shades, the world in of the shadows, you are not in reality. For instance, this morning, do we have breakfast? Yes. Imagine the temple president would say to you, for economical reasons, we will serve you only the shade of a breakfast, the shadow. There's a lamp installed, a plate, it's nice, it's full. And there's even the Mangal Arati sweets, which are world famous. But you are only allowed to serve yourself from the shadow. And so are all others. You would remain hungry and you would plunder the refrigerators of the grihastas for some alternative. Huh? Because a shadow cannot nourish you. So in spiritual life, shadow chanting or shadow practice cannot nourish us. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the chanting, and this refers to other devotional processes as well, remains shadow chanting unless it is done with an awareness of one's relationship. Now, I have seen, and with me, many devotees, that when you talk about a relationship to Krishna in the context of our international attempt for becoming Krishna consciousness, that some devotees feel ill at ease. Last Govardhan retreat was very amazing. Omala appreciated that, Mataji Omala appreciated, maybe I should not say names, the devotee started with this, appreciated that the Govardhan retreat was talking so much about Krishna. What else to talk about near to Govardhan, And he said, in ISKCON, you almost feel like a sahajiya when you talk about Krishna. And then another well-known sannyasi, I made the mistake of telling one name, best of the sannyasis, oldest of all devotees, said, yeah, I also noticed. Then the two of us, our names can be known, Burijan Prabhu and myself, the retreat givers, we said, yeah, we have also noticed. We are ill at ease with the thought of a relationship because there has been mistakes in our society by devotees who tried. There is a vast, vast ocean of practices of which we are warned, premature transcendentalism, let us call it like that, where someone imagines some relationship and goes outside of our society for instructions in that and so on. There is a little trauma surrounding this. But at the same time, we all here, we are eternal parts of Krishna. And more precisely, we are servants. That indicates a relationship, a connection, a bond. Let me use now words from my English lessons. A relationship, what are other words? A bond, a connection, an active traffic of emotional, whatever is a relationship, emotional, what? Exchange, right, an exchange. And so on. How to think about this? There was once a great devotee, a preacher. He sat at the banks of the Jamuna. His mission was to bring people to Krishna consciousness. But he thought it's not possible. His question was, how can an impure soul connect, or even Krishna Kirtan has given the word exchange, with the all-pure Lord? How can a piece of straw come close to the sun? But at the same time, I should make people Krishna conscious. I should connect them. And he was in big inner turmoil. How will this work? It was at the end of the monsoons season. It's described the sun, that the night was dark. Only occasionally it was lit up by these flashes. And thunderclaps. The devotee was there. All of a sudden another flash came, and when the flash paled, disappeared in the night, then he saw Krishna with a dhoti, the color of a flash, with a smile, and he said, "Oh, my dear devotee, you should connect people with me by telling them a simple prayer." This prayer says, "My dear Lord, since time immemorial, I have forgotten you, and my blissful spiritual nature, as a result of this forgetfulness, has completely been covered over. My life has become so complicated. But now I'm turning to you, and I dedicate my Hare Krishna, my words and my intelligence and my home and my family, and especially my mind, to you. My Lord, I am yours." And the devotee, this is enough. And then Krishna explained, you have to know, when ordinary river water comes and flows into the Ganga, like these tributaries in the Himalayas, they also become Ganga water. So when an ordinary soul dedicates his activities, his words, and his body to me, the all pure, they become pure as well. Have you been in the Himalayas? Or you have? There are these rivers. They are often dirty, and they carry the, how to express it in polite English terms, they carry the village cloaca, we say in German language, the drainage, sewage. Thank you for your English expertise. They carry the village sewage. There's a lot in there. There's human things in there, and animal things, and bird things, and worm things, and so everything washes in the Ganga. But only 50 meter or 100 meters downstream in the Ganga, it's all Ganga. It's pure. We take our bath in there. It's good. So, if a devotee learns to dedicate what he does to Krishna, a little downstream in his life, he becomes pure. And yes, connects with the Lord. And the Lord says, I'm in their heart and they are in my heart. And that is what he expresses. A certain, relationship. The relationship of devotional union is there. So how to exactly do that is expressed in a mind-blowing verse. I hope it's somewhere here in this beautiful notebook. Yes. From the Bhagavatam. It says, Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana vanushrita svabhavat karoti yat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samapayetat. In accordance with the particular nature one has acquired in conditioned life, whatever one does with body, words, mind, senses, intelligence, or purified consciousness, one should offer to the Supreme, thinking, this is for the pleasure of Lord Narayan. Let me say it in simple English, because I'm a simple boy. You are a conditioned soul. But whatever you do with your body, mind, and intelligence, offer that to the Supreme. And while you do this, think this is for the pleasure of the Lord. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he wants to bring us into a practical application of this verse. And he says that an ordinary person begins his activity in the morning by fasten your seat belts, passing stool and urine, cleaning his mouth, brushing his teeth, that's you, my dear devotee, bathing, meeting his friends and family members and discussing with them the day's business. No, this is an ordinary person does. Now, a devotee of the Supreme Lord should simply perform all of his daily activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Everything. Yes, you can dedicate yourself, even though you are so conditioned. Yes, you can have a relationship with Krishna. Yes, you can connect. Yes, you can exchange. This is for the pleasure of the Lord. This is the beginning. And then, as you get purified by this constant thought, this is for the pleasure of the Lord. I'm brushing my teeth to have shiny teeth for my preaching activity. What else do you do? I don't want to go into, I'm eating prasadam. This is to make me strong for my service to Krishna. You just bring everything in contact, and the idea is to bring Krishna in your mind while you are still a conditioned soul. And this will bring you to a little higher stage where you will like to see, well, is brushing teeth very pleasing to the Lord? I mean, it's a little ordinary, no? But then you will think after some time of the activities which the great devotees do for Krishna. You will be able to listen with great attention to the chanting of the holy name, because now you're not doing shadow chanting any longer. You're connecting with Krishna in whatever you do. Have you seen how mechanical your chanting sometimes is? Have you seen? Ooh! My God! I have seen devotees. I have made over 30 years a collection of pictures about devotees chanting japa, and you will see you will see total dysfunctional expression in the faces. You will see they look as if this is the greatest torture, because maybe it is for them. They have no connection while they do this. Imagine you talk for 30, 40 years into the darkness and there is you feel no connection. You don't see the person. You don't feel connected to the person. You might become slightly dysfunctional. You need to have that stream, that you need to have that feeling of connection, and immediately you're blissful. You can see that in kirtans. Connected kirtans and disconnected kirtans are really they're different, In connected kirtans, all of a sudden there is so much divine presence felt that the devotees raise their arms, cry, have devotional experiences, and in disconnected kirtans, it's just an attack on the vocal cords. So spiritual life is really with this Krishna Sambandha. I think as I'm explaining to it, you say, well, why does the Maharaj talk about it? We know that. Yeah. My dear devotees, I know it's obvious. It's it's so obvious that we don't know it. We don't see it any longer. Do you know Nasruddin? Nasruddin, a saint of the Islamic tradition, came every month one time to the border, to the next country, and he said, I'm a terrible person. No, said the people at the border, you are a saint. No, I'm smuggling. I'm so terrible. I'm a criminal. What are you smuggling, Nasruddin? Well, that's not my work to find out. You have to find out. So the people, the custom people, smuggled. They searched him very thoroughly. He only had a woolen thing on, and there was nothing. They searched his donkey on which he was riding. Nothing. Next month he came again, totally crying. I'm so criminal. I'm smuggling this. I'm in the act of smuggling. Yeah, but what do you smuggle? You find out. That's why you get paid. So again they searched him. They boiled his coat. Is it a coat? To maybe find out there's something, or in the pockets, or in the. They searched it. There were 2 baskets on his donkey, but they were filled with grass. That's all right. You can bring grass from one country to the next, no problem. Maybe in England it's a problem. There's this warning shield. We are very strict about food imported here. Now, they did everything. They put him upside down, and nothing. There was nothing. This went on for 40 years, and they could see over the custom people that Nasruddin's business flourished. He built like a palace in which he lived. He was making good money. So after 50 years, one of the custom officers, he was out of duty, said, Nasruddin, now you can tell me, what were you smuggling? And Nasruddin says, donkeys. He was every month having a new donkey. He went with the donkey over the border, sold it at the border, and then went back and then got a new donkey, cheap, and sold him for high price. Donkeys. It was so obvious that it was not obvious any longer. It was so clear, so it was stood right before that the point was missed. So this simple devotional thing, to live in a relationship with Krishna, to offer him what you do, to dedicate it, is so absolutely obvious. That's the point of that it is no longer present in a devotee's life. And you can see it in the chanting, where this point misses, and our japa, and our life, which is less than blissful sometimes, which is not filled with the exhilaration of living in a loving relationship with Krishna. I'm not talking of rasa. I'm not talking of our siddhadeha. I'm not speaking of Svarup Siddhi Bhakti and all these complicated things. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking of a very simple point. And I want to now give you a homework in the last minute which this lecture will last. Here comes your homework, and I will test you next time I come to Bhaktivedanta Mena. I will test you very thoroughly. Start today with that simple meditation. Hare Krishna, welcome. The simple meditation that what you do today, you dedicate it for Krishna. Before the activity starts, you just say, this is for yours, for you. Like the verse says, Narayana yeti samapayat tvat. Whatever you do, it's for your pleasure, my Lord. Do this, and you will maintain an awareness of Krishna throughout your day. It will re-enter and re-enter, re-enter, and you will become transformed after this day. I will check you next time I come. If you want to read this verse, because it might challenge you a little and provoke you, where this said, whatever we do should be offered. By the way, there's a Gita verse also, Yat Karoshni, Yat Ashnasi. But this Bhagavatam verse you will find it in the 11th canto, please note down, 2nd chapter, verse 36. And having said this, I will put my notebook to rest now. And I wish you the most wonderful day in your Krishna consciousness. Today, I know some of you will come with us to Wales, to a very special seminar. I hope it's special for and others are busy staying in London with their lives. We will be back, I hear, on Sunday evening, and I would request all of you to join us for an evening of kirtan. That will be my great pleasure to see you all and make already my initial test if the thing. But you have to be disciplined. It's really discipline. Before everything you do, this is for you, Krishna. There may be some things which you have to drop from your schedule, which are not which cannot be really offered so nicely.